Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Florida.
Saturday night in Miami, Marlins Park, and the Fish are in desperate need of a win, trying to stop this skid at 5 straight. Sun is setting, game's about to begin. So come on inside and join us. Hi everybody, Rich Waltz, along with Todd Hollingsworth. Baseball is such a unique sport. When you're on a losing streak, it's not like you can go out and run over the opponent as you can in hockey or in football, or D up like you can in basketball. How do you get out of this in baseball?
Well, you control what you can control. It's as simple as going out, maybe manufacturing runs, maybe taking a team concept to your offense. When you start to roll, a lot of times what's happened, and you've seen this from the Marlins, you know, maybe moving up runners doesn't become a premium when you're scoring 6 runs a ballgame. Well, it's not. But when you start to play like this, you have to find those little things in a ball game that you can do a little bit better.
The silver lining here is that the Marlins haven't lost a whole lot of ground in the wild card. Thanks to Arizona beating Colorado last night, the Marlins are still 6 out in the wild card, and if they all of a sudden get back with a nice spurt throughout a week, they can make up ground.
Well, these are fantastic conversations, fun conversations for us to talk about, but inside the Marlins clubhouse, the conversation goes something like this. Guys, we got to play a better game of baseball. Let's go out and get a win. It's not about who's in front of us. It's not about who's behind us right now. Let's just play better baseball. You got a guy like Dan Straley on the mound tonight who's been very, very good over his last 6 starts, so you're feeling pretty good about your chances.
And Straley has faced the Phillies, has beaten the Phillies. You see his last 6 starts, but his last 2 were really, really good. Now, on the flip side, the Marlins, if you take a look at Straley coming out of the bullpen and walking onto the field, getting ready for his start. Aaron Nola is on the other side of the coin here for the Phils, one of the bright young prospects. Well, no longer a prospect, but one of the bright young players they're building around.
Well, that's right. He's taking on the role of ace, right, with the Philadelphia Phillies. He's been absolutely spectacular this year, and he's kind of that hidden gem in baseball because he's been so good. He wants payback versus the Fish. The Fish absolutely wore him out his last time in Philadelphia, so you think he's looking for a little redemption tonight, you can count on it.
Marlins are just looking for a win. We'll
right.
see if they can stop the skid tonight. Dan Straley on the hill for the Fish. Getting runners in, getting them on has not been a problem. It's been getting them in. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine dissect that when we return.
is right for baseball here at Marlins Park. Get a victory here. That's the goal for the Marlins. And they've had one of the better leadoff guys you've seen. D. Gordon looks a little bit like that guy you saw win the batting title these days. He had a very, very good year. Excellent year.
Very good year. And if you ask him, he said he's been inconsistent, but as of late, he's been on fire. Over 300 now on the season. He's been getting on base, doing his job, stealing bases, but unfortunately, the rest of the offense hasn't been doing as well behind him.
Yeah, D. Gordon's up over 300 now. 301 heading into this game tonight. And that speed factor, the stolen base factor, just got to try and stop. And look at that, even that little slash factor. Now look at the spinning wheel factor for the Marlins and their attack up and down the lineup with the major league ranks.
Yeah, the getting on base, as we've said, has been the good part about the Marlins offense. Batting average 5th in all of baseball. Leadoff on base percentage as far as leading off any inning, tied for 3rd in Major League Baseball.
Impressive.
But the run producing situations, bases loaded, runners in scoring position, and runs per game are all middle of the pack. They have not held up to those front numbers.
Right, and they're getting guys on. That's an interesting stat, that leadoff on base percentage, a near 340 for the Marlins. Now for this ball game tonight, give me a couple of things in your recipe for victory for the Marlins.
Well, they're going against a tough one. Aaron Nola has one of the highest swing and miss percentages of balls outside the strike zone. They have to be patient with him and try to manufacture some runs. Get a guy on, but then move him over and get him in with productive outs.
All right, the Marlins are with very frustrating series so far. A lot of shaking their heads over the first 2 games to the Phillies, who are crumbling here coming into this series with a 49-83 record, but they've won the first 2. See if the Marlins can get it one here tonight on a Saturday night in Miami.
Is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass by Vico Painting Contractors. Find out more at vicopainting.com. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Dan Straley getting ready to go. Phillies and Marlins. Marlins, of course, had that great run. Got him closer to the wild card, but a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Nationals and 2 agonizing losses to the Phillies here. 2-1 last night, a 1-0 lead in the 9th, and then 3-2 on Thursday. That sets up this Saturday matchup. Straley throws a strike to Cesar Hernandez. Freddie Galvis, Nick Williams lined up to start this first inning for the Phils. And Straley comes in with a good fastball on the hands, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, Hernandez definitely late on that. 4 career starts versus the Philadelphia Phillies. 3-1 with a 3.18 ERA, so good numbers. He's allowed 3 earned runs or less his last 6 starts.
Bounces in the dirt. Dan Straley put together really nice months of May and June. A 3.12 and a 3.18 ERA. After the All-Star break, he had some struggles. In fact, his first 7 starts in the second half, he went 0-4 with a 5.20. But that's changed now. He's starting to throw better. His last 2 starts, 6 innings each, and a total of 5 earned runs. Beat the Phillies 12-8. Got a no decision in a 6-2 win over the Padres.
He'll finish up a really fine season if he has a big month of September.
3-2 is up, and he loses Hernandez. Southwest Airlines is proud to present the Phillies lineup. Cesar Hernandez, switch hitter. Freddie Galvis, switch hitter. Nick Williams in right. RHYS Hoskins out in left. Tommy Joseph back at first base. MAIKEL Franco at third base. Pedro Florimon is the center fielder. Cameron Rupp, the catcher. Aaron Nola in the 9 spot. Pete Mackanin, the Phils in the throes of a major rebuild. A step backwards this year after what many felt was a step forward. 71 wins last year, and they sit at 51 wins here in early September. Straley misses away to Galvis.
Galvis a couple hits. Game 1, a hit last night, 3 for 8 in the series. He's hit Marlins pretty well this season. .291 batting average, 14 games. Started every one of the Phillies games this season. Most of those at shortstop.
Galvis a long look down to his third base coach, Juan Samuel, a terrific major leaguer and a Philly. Count a ball and a strike. Galvis having another outstanding season defensively. This might be the year he breaks through. Some feel with a Gold Glove. One pitch, and he missed it. It's 1-2.
For Straley, the fastball has been effective early. Hernandez and Galvis tried to put Hernandez away really with that changeup. Did not have good command of it. It's a very important pitch to Straley's arsenal. So he goes to the slider. Talk about it a lot. Slider and the changeup, very, very important. Get a lot of swing and misses. In fact, over 200 swing and misses with the slider and changeup combined.
Defensively, here's Miami behind Straley tonight.
Here's how the Marlins will line up. Marcell Ozuna in left. Christian Yelich gets another start in center field, as he always does. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Sir Anderson over at third base. Rojas, D. Gordon, Tomas Delis in first base tonight for JT Realmuto, who is behind the plate.
Game number 2 for Brian Anderson over there at third base. Last night a 1 for 3, handled himself defensively quite well.
Had a couple of plays going back to his left, and then even a slow roller. Barehander. Nice job defensively.
Galvis hits a high pop on the infield. Delis and Gordon. And it's D. Gordon who makes the catch. So an out for Straley. Nick Williams will climb in. What's going on in baseball tonight? Well, importantly for the Marlins, the Giants just walked off against the Cardinals. And that's good news because the Cardinals, one of the teams in front of Miami in that wild card race. Milwaukee is at home against the Nationals. That game just started. And we'll look in on Colorado and Arizona later tonight. Diamondbacks are hot. The Rockies are not. Daniel Descalso last night with a 3-run pinch hit homer to help sink the Rockies. And the Diamondbacks now 77-58. As well, baseball's back in Houston. The doubleheader, Houston and the Mets. Houston won the first 12-8. And the second game of that doubleheader is just about to begin.
Really good to see. A lot of fan support, a lot of emotion. Good communication between the Astros and their fan base, so a lot of heartfelt support.
Runner goes, Real Muto's throws on the money. Tag is there, and he is out. Hernandez caught stealing. JT Real Muto, great pop time, strong arm. A little wink to his pitcher like, yeah, I got you.
And also really a good pitch to throw on. It was away, so he was able to get out quick. Talk about the pop time, outstanding. Hernandez really no chance. He was out by a good foot and a half. Almost acted like a pitch out. See the tailing action.
Williams with a swing and a miss. And it counts 1-2. Well, that'll help clean up a leadoff walk. Williams 0 for 8 in the series. Straley's fastball misses up.
It's the 20th caught stealing. JT Real Muto this season, so he's 3 behind Tucker Barnhart.
Roller over the middle. Gordon around it, flips it, got him at first. And down go the Phillies. First inning, scoreless. Marlins coming up. Gordon, Stanton, Yelich. In the box, ready to launch. Marlins, their first look at Aaron Nola here tonight. Southwest Airlines brings you the lineup. Gordon's been terrific in the leadoff spot. Look at the 6-game streak and look at the number of hits. 6 multi-hit games. Stanton in the 2 spot. He's cooled off over the last few games. Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, JT Real Muto, Brian Anderson hitting 6th again. Tomas Talis is at first base. Miguel Rojas at short, and Straley in the 9 spot.
Your Auto Nation scouting report of Aaron Nola, 6'2", 195. He's 24 years old. All right, Breaking Bad. We know Marlins have lost 5 in a row. The offense in a little bit of a funk. Well, like Pavetta last night, the Marlins got Nola last time they saw him for 7 earned runs 2 starts ago. So let's see if they can't build off of that. Curve coming. He's got one of the best curveballs in the game. 115 swing and misses. That's 4th best in all of baseball. So you know that pitch is coming at some point tonight. And oh, by the way, he's got a really good sinking fastball. That's what sinking fast is. 91 to 93 miles an hour, 188 batting average again. So this guy's got a pretty good little arsenal.
I was expecting a Walter White reference after the Breaking Bad.
It just fit, right?
And no, Nola is not from Albuquerque. Ball and a strike to Gordon. Stanton and Yelich to follow. D takes a fastball. Now the Marlins have knocked Nola around this year, including their latest meeting, which was about 2 weeks ago. Ichiro and Giancarlo both homered. Miami got 7 runs and 9 hits, and expect the curve, get the fastball. That was heat and a strikeout.
He'll lean on his 2-seamer and his 4-seamer. He throws them about half the time. He also has that great breaking ball. Everybody knows it. See the running action that is on that 2-seamer. Ties D. Gordon up.
So here's Stanton, sitting on 51 homers in 132 games, 3 for 6 with that home run against NOLA. 3 infielders way over on the left side. NOLA's fastball misses. Look how far and look how close GALVIS and FRANCO are. I mean, they could put their gloves out and almost touch down that third base line.
Well, it speaks to the tailing action on his fastballs. NOLA early in this ballgame, that's all D. Gordon saw, right? Here's your breaking ball.
And a good one.
He also has a changeup, not to be forgotten. He will throw it, but it also tails to the right-handed hitter. And of course, you would see them play an overshift, strong overshift, for those very reasons.
Stanton drives one, left center field. Number 52 is out of here. Way gone.
That's how you break out of a funk. Look at the Marlins dugout rise. Snaps out of the 1 for 17.
A 5-game drought ends with a mammoth blast.
Giancarlo has talked over the last few days. The few pitches that he gets to hit, not missing them. Didn't miss that one. Inner third. It's the lane we talk about an awful lot. Giancarlo all over it.
Here's Yelich now. 445 feet, 115 miles an hour. And just a short and sweet swing.
One swing, one pitch, one spot. Stanton has preached it so often here in the second half, and this little thing that he was in, he just really was missing his pitches. He barreled up a couple of balls the other night. They just were going more towards the roof.
I feel like every time he hits a home run now, we need to call the accounting firm of whoever does the Academy Awards and add up all the numbers. There's 52. That's the easy part. There's a strike. 14 homers his last 23 games. 19 homers his last 29 games. 31 homers his last 52 games.
Well, he's just taken over first place. You ready? First inning homers. Stole it from Bryce Harper. He's now in first place all by his lonesome. 13 first inning home runs, one ahead of Bryce Harper.
Well, Stanton has gone deep. The Marlins have a 1-0 lead and 3-2 to Christian Yelich. And he fouls it off. Now, baseball players are superstitious guys, and when things don't go right, you try to change it up. Christian Yelich going with the high and all black stance game socks. Hikes the pants up, ready to go. And Yelich rolls one into center field for a hit.
It worked.
You have a big night with your pants rolled up in the high socks. You're going back out there tomorrow.
Baseball players are so funny, aren't we? A nice swing on the breaking ball. You heard me ranting and raving about how good that breaking ball is. Well, Christian Yelich stayed right on it and drove it right through the middle. I'm hoping for a 4-hit night tonight, maybe a home run or two, so we can see the high socks tomorrow from him. It's funny, right? When it's going well, don't change a thing. Chicken for lunch, you know, whatever. Same shoes, same gloves, same batting gloves. Goes bad, you want to change it all.
Breaking ball and a strike to Ozuna. And the count is 0-1. So the Fish get a home run. Stanton's 52nd. The challenge now for this ball club tonight is to try to manufacture some runs. They've been getting guys on base. They, as we pointed out, just haven't been getting hits with runners in scoring position.
Now they need to get their offensive swagger back. That's really what it comes down to for me. And you sensed over, if you're watching, and I know Marlins fans you are, these games matter. They seem like they've lost their swagger a little bit, that look in their eyes, and I think it's back. And it's funny how it works with this group, but they seem to feed off each other really well. And when you saw the Stanton blast, my first place was to look was to the dugout. Everybody was up, everybody was excited, everybody was engaged once again.
Well, look, I don't think it's a coincidence that when Stanton had his 5-game skid, 1 for 17, the Marlins lost 5 in a row. And you can measure. There's Ozuna, gets around, hits it deep, and that one's gone. 2-run shot, and it's 3-0 Miami.
Well, Marcell Ozuna is back. How about it? Congratulations. Welcome to the 20 home runs at home club. It only had 1 member. Now it's got 2.
Number 32 for Ozuna.
GIANCARLO Stanton had been the only member of the 20 home run club here at Marlins Park in its history. That is number 22 for Marcell Ozuna. Watch how fast he pulls his hands in on a 2-seam fastball. Doesn't even get extended. Just merely cuts it off and rotates. How about it? Let's watch it from the side. Watch his hands around his body. Oh, that is impressive. Some kind of strength from Ozuna.
JT Realmuto. Realmuto. Nice stop. Franco. Throw across. Beat it. Base hit. Realmuto going with the high socks as well. Has got a single.
Well, good hustle from JT Realmuto. Let's see if he gets there. Indeed, he beats it. He beats the ball to the interior of the glove. Nice hustle down the line. The ball was hit hard. Nice play by Franco over at third base. Good to see. Outside of that outstanding game versus Strasburg, he'd been in an over. Good to see JT on base once again.
A thrill certainly to make your major league debut last night for a pair of Marlin rookies, including this guy, Brian Anderson. Dylan Peters was terrific. 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, 3 hits, no runs. Anderson was 1 for 3 with a single. But how cool is it for a guy like Anderson, who's been in the minor leagues all year, AA and AAA? He watches MLB Network. He watches the highlight shows. He's seen Stanton almost on a nightly basis hitting balls 450 feet. And now all of a sudden he's in the dugout and in the batting order and a few hitters away, and he gets to watch it in real life.
Yeah, he is hitting behind. I've said it time and time again. Of course, my eyes are glued to the Marlins. Best top 5 hitters in the game. I'd put him up against just about anybody right now. D. Gordon, JT Realmuto, and obviously Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich.
Runner goes, ball in the dirt. Realmuto head first slide, he's in. Ball trickles away. Realmuto's hustling. Galvis was backing up the throw, so he had vacated shortstop, and that's where the ball ended up.
Heads up baseball. Doesn't get the best of jumps. It's a breaking ball, so gains a step or 2 on Rupp. As the throw comes in, kind of off the glove and off the thigh. Of course, it's right in front of JT, so it's an easy read up and at him over to third base.
It's an important stolen base and an even more important throwing error by Cameron Rupp. Corners come in. Anderson in an RBI spot and a 1-2 coming. There's the big breaking ball, and the kid just got it off the end of his bat. So here's the part that the Marlins have struggled with. Yeah, they weren't hitting the ball out of the park either, but now they've got a runner at third base, one out, middle infield back. Anderson looking for good contact.
The middle of the field, past the mound, gets it done.
Fastball, got a piece, and it's held by the catcher, Cameron Rupp. So a strikeout for Nola, his second of the inning.
Climbs the ladder. You've seen fastball, starts to settle and kind of run in just a little bit on his hands. More than anything, Anderson just a little bit late on that fastball. That'll give the opportunity to Tomas Talise.
2 outs, Talise back at first base. Fastball in. If you haven't followed the club the last couple of days, Justin Bohr is headed out for some rehab games in the minor leagues. And Don Mattingly felt best case scenario, Atlanta on Thursday. Would be a time you might see Bohr back in uniform and back in the lineup. Count 2-0 to Talise here. There's a huge gap up the middle. And it's 2-1. The Phillies have got Hernandez over towards first, playing Talise to pull, and yet GALVIS is still pretty much over a few steps to his left from a normal shortstop spot.
Good take. Nola's gone to the changeup a few times here against Talise. He's laid off those pitches down in the zone. And Nola has got to be frustrated with this Marlins club. They have had his number. It's been pretty loud. Nola has been throwing the ball well. We referenced the start where the Marlins got him for 7 earned runs. Oh, by the way, he had an outstanding start in between against the Atlanta Braves, went 7 innings. Didn't walk anybody.
Change up again, and Talise out in front of it. It's 3-2.
Nola's gone 6+ innings in 11 of his last 13 starts, allowing 2 earned runs or fewer. Well, minus the Marlins, they have had pretty good swings at him.
And Talise rolls it to the left of Hernandez, flips to first in time, but Miami puts 3 up, and they use their muscle to do it. GIANCARLO, number 52, a solo shot, and MARCELL OZUNA, a 2-run homer. Michael Hill, Marlins president of baseball operations, will join us in the 3rd inning. We'll talk about September. We could talk OZUNA and Stanton for sure, but I'd like to hear Michael's appraisal of both Brian Anderson, and obviously he's got to be thrilled with Dylan Peters last night. So that's coming up in the 3rd. RHYS Hoskins, Tommy Joseph, Kyle Franco. Hoskins had his hit streak snap last night. He had hit it 13 straight. He struck out 3 times.
Walked. He had no chance.
Peters got him twice.
Right, you got to have a ball in play to have a chance of getting a hit.
Listening to Peters post game last night talking about his start, he said the first hitter got away from him. He was nervous, the butterflies were there, and then all of a sudden he said after I walked that opening hitter, he walked Hernandez, it dawned on him that, hey, look, I'm here to get outs, and he said it all went away, all the nervousness. OZUNA over. Hoskins has a line drive hit. Philly phenom is at first base.
Getting back to Peters just for a second, you start to realize that you got a really good defense behind you as well. You want to pitch to that defense, and he became aggressive. You're right. Settled in, made pitches, only the 3 walks. Good stuff.
He gave a lot of credit to his catcher A.J. Ellis as well. He fielded his position quite well. He had 5 ground balls that he took care of. Fastball in.
Tommy Joseph, 19 homers, 63 RBIs. That leads the Philadelphia Phillies. Three homers, 6 RBIs, 12 games versus the Marlins this year. A couple of hits last night.
Be interested to see what the Phillies do in the offseason with Joseph and Hoskins. Hoskins is a first baseman by trade. He's been out in left field. Do they continue with that?
That's a good question.
0-2, a swing and a miss. Straley gets a strikeout, his first of the ball game.
Rant and rave about the slider, the changeup, well, all season long. High fastballs worked as well. Elevated, 4-seamer, top of the zone. Definitely picked some strikeouts up as well.
Franco climbs in. It's 1 for 7 in the series. His hit was a big one last night, that's for sure. Miami had a 1-0 lead. Brad Ziegler was on the mound. 9th inning, and Franco drilled one to left for a double, and that's how the rally started. Phillies would get 2 and hold on to the bottom of the 9th for a 2-1 win.
Now that double was the hardest hit ball in the inning. In fact, give the Phillies credit. They had very good situational approaches to getting those 2 runs across in the 9th inning. Something the Marlins have been struggling with over the last 5 ball games. Middle infielders were back, had a couple slow rollers to second. Shortened up their swings a couple times. I think the Marlins would tell you they'd love to get that offense rolling. Nobody's asking for the pitching to be perfect, just good enough. The offense do its thing. Well, good first inning tonight for the Fish.
Franco steps out. Marlins have the Phillies tomorrow afternoon, and then the Nationals are here. So getting this thing straightened out by the time Monday night rolls around is pretty important.
Well, as I said, each of these games for the Marlins really moving forward and understanding playoff baseball in the month of September is not merely saying it's going to be head-to-head. Of course, the Marlins do get to face the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, and the Rockies, but that's later on in September. These games are all playoff games because you got to win. It's as simple as that. You got to look at the Phillies like they're your playoff opponent tonight. You got to find a way to win a ball game. You got to manage it. You got to play it. Go out there and do whatever you got to do to get it done. And I think that was pretty much the sound that I heard before the game today. Was doesn't matter where we are in the standings or how we're playing. We got to find a way to get a win tonight.
Now the Nationals and the Marlins Monday night game, the starters are to be announced. If it lines up, because the Marlins were just in D.C., that's a Steven Strasburg start. Yelich venturing out to the track, makes the catch. Hoskins hustles back to first. Conley and Strasburg, that was the matchup. If all the days hold and the rotations stay the same. All you can baseball. Get the ballpark pass and receive mobile access. Every remaining regular season home game, $29.99, and that's it. It's the ballpark pass on your mobile device. Download the MLB.com ballpark app or visit marlins.com/pass today. Fastball in. Floriman takes inside.
Floriman has had a nice series. He's had a number of big hits against the Marlins already.
Phillies like what they see out of this guy.
He's proven to be versatile. He's given them quality at bats. Got a 6-game hitting streak. 348 over that streak.
This is the much like last year for the Phillies, a year where they need to see what they've got. The young players that have come from trades and other organizations, the prospects that have been in their system, the guys like RHYS Hoskins that suddenly are playing major league games. On a hop, Rojas skips, throws, and safe. Ooh, down goes Floriman. And let's hope he's okay. It doesn't look like he is.
He hit the top of the bag and rolled his ankle. I don't know how bad. I was watching it the whole way. It did not look good. Holding his lower leg.
Now you can see the trainer right now is motioning that he's going to need some help, and Floriman is down in an immense amount of pain. I think the Marlins are calling.
Watch the ankle. Ooh, ooh. That is bad. If you've got a weak stomach, don't look. Oh.
And the Marlins are calling for a cart.
Yes. Oh. That right ankle. He completely almost turned it over the entire way. Oh, thoughts and prayers for that young man. I'll tell you what, that was not pretty. Now he sees this hit. He turns on the jets. He's reaching for the bag, and oh, that right ankle just hits the corner and it rolls. And it didn't slightly roll. A lot of times you're able to kind of catch yourself off that other leg and stop the acceleration through the roll. Floriman could not do that. It completely turned. Just hope and pray it didn't break it.
You can see the cart on its way out from center field, and both teams' trainers are there. It was a really nice play by Rojas, sliding in the hole even to make it close. Floriman's going to get a hit for it. But the concern of everybody right now is for this youngster. McCann and his managers out there as well. See Mike Kozak, the assistant trainer for the Marlins, out there talking to the emergency personnel. There are X-ray facilities here in this ballpark.
The worst part is going to be getting the socks off and any tape that he has underneath his socks off his ankle. Having been there a time or two, that does not look good. He is still in a great deal of pain.
I wouldn't be surprised if they take him. Let's see where they are going to exit. Down that left field line, possibly. It's 3-0 Miami. If you're just joining us, Pedro Florimon severely turned his ankle running across first base, beating out an infield hit. And it looks like that's the closest exit to the medical facilities. So Dan Straley continues to throw. Obviously, they have to be as cautious and as diligent as they can in moving him and getting him. Looks like they're actually going to take the shoe off right now. This is in real time.
Watch the little reach at the end. Ugh. As baseball players, you played it a long time. Watching it home, you want that hit, you smell it, you reach for the bag. And this conversation shows itself with guys diving headfirst into first base, changing their stride, running through the bag. And you see Florimon, it's human nature. You want the hit, you do whatever you have to get to first base. And you see him lunge at the bag, catches the corner, rolls the ankle.
And so this, with this type of attention, your hope is that initially your hope was it was a sprained ankle, but this type of attention indicates it probably more serious.
Did you notice when their trainer came out, the first thing he did when he saw it, he tried to look underneath his pants to see if he could see, which sometimes is a bone out of place or something dislocated or anything else that you might see under there. He put it back down, called for the cart to come out and get him, which clearly tells you that there's probably something more to this than a severely sprained ankle.
They've got an air cast on him now in a chair that can probably wheel him back. Both the training staffs and the emergency medical folks here at Marlins Park were pretty quick to get out and have been with him. You can see two Marlin trainers there, Dustin Lupker and Mike Kozak. And for the Marlin players, and obviously for the Philly players, this is a hard moment to watch, because they know that something like this could easily happen to them. You think back to Bryce Harper and that rainy night, and everybody blamed it on the wet base, and it just kind of unfortunately illustrates that wet or dry, bases can be, if you hit it the wrong way, bases can be treacherous.
Right, and that's the the whole idea is that the batter runner right down the first baseline wants that hit so bad, will do anything for it. And you see it happen just about every year. You see Marcell OZUNA out there, that's his countryman, Pedro Feliciano from the Dominican Republic, La Romana. Floriman in a lot of pain.
They are doing their very best to move him onto that backboard and up onto what looks like a stretcher with wheels that can be wheeled out. And let's keep our fingers crossed for that young man.
Floriman had taken full advantage of his opportunity. The Phillies have been playing very well. Thoughts and prayers. What's next?
So Straley will get as much time as he needs to loosen back up. It's a 3-0 Miami lead. Giancarlo Stanton has hit his 52nd. Marcell OZUNA has hit his 32nd. So the Marlins have built their lead with the long ball. The Phillies actually have a couple runners on with 2 outs here. You see Kim has come in to pinch run. That's Hyung Soo Kim. And Straley is ready now, and Cameron Rupp will come up. So Kim plays the outfield. My guess is Nick Williams will end up in center field, and Kim's going to go to right field, and they'll leave Hoskins in left. Straley now, after this wait, gets Rupp, who is in the 8th spot. It's 1 for 4 on Thursday night in Game 1.
He struggled with the Marlins this season. 3 for 28, 7 batting average. Does have power. 29 of his 59 hits, it's almost 50%, have gone for extra bases. 15 doubles, 14 home runs. See that slugging percentage at .443 despite the low batting average.
It's that a long way, but it's quite foul. Though that doesn't diminish the entertainment value. That thing.
There's a good chance that ball sits up there for a while.
327 is the section. That's a long way up, but a pretty good ways foul.
First ball we've seen up there this year. Fair? I think so. I don't think we've seen a ball up there yet.
I don't know. Maybe not in that last corner section there.
Right.
0-2. Chases. Straley gets a strikeout. Phillies strand 2. 3-0 Miami.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Well, 3-0 start for the Marlins, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. They've done it with the long ball. 52 for Stanton, 32 for OZUNA. And as expected, Nick Williams is in center field, and Hyung-Soo Kim ends up in right. We will pass along any word that we get as to the status of Pedro Florimon, the Phillies player with the lower leg injury in the right leg down near the ankle. (8-9-1). If anybody gets on, GIANCARLO. And a strike to Rojas. Miguel doubled in the first game of the series. Shoots a ground ball to the right side. Hernandez on first in time to get that out. MAIKEL coming up. He'll join us for the third inning. Marlins President of Baseball Operations. Plenty of questions for Michael Hill. And Straley feeds Hernandez another ground ball. They'll bring up D. Gordon. Baseball psychology right now in this case. Pitchers on his way back to the dugout. It's been a short inning here. Rojas bounced out. Straley saw one pitch. So if you're D. Gordon, do you take a pitch? If you're Aaron Nola, are you thinking that he's going to take a pitch and you groove him a fastball?
Oh, typically, speaking for a leadoff hitter, and I did this a little bit, you're taking a pitch right here and you're grooving one. Yes, you just you hope that's not the case, but it usually is. Let's see. Didn't throw a strike, but he was taken all the way.
All right, now that that's over, counts 1-0. Because I've seen the opposite happen where the leadoff hitter's got some pop.
Yeah.
And everybody in the house is thinking he's going to take a pitch. And kapow.
As long as you listen, nobody has an issue with it if you get a hit.
It's true. Gordon lines that one to right, hits it pretty well, and it's in the gap, gets by Kim, goes to the wall. Gordon is racing for third, and he's got to get there. That's a triple. And if Kim had any issues on the warning track, that would have been 4 bases.
Well, I said nothing about taking a strike, right? Just taking a pitch. Well, he took 2 pitches and jumped on the 2-0 fastball. Yes, sir. Goes down and gets it. That 2-seamer just absolutely rocketed into the gap. Almost looked like it tailed away from Kim just a little bit. Stand-up triple for D. Gordon. Don't blink your eyes. You'll miss him. It'll take him a couple of seconds to get over third base.
Here's Stanton. He took a low fastball and hit it 445 feet to left center. The at-bat starts with a breaking ball, and it's 0-1. So he's got 52 now. And 111 driven in. Gordon's at third, 3 infielders on the third base side. Stanton cuts at that curveball and misses. It's 0-2.
Stage up on Arenado. All right, that last home run, number 52. Let's take another look at this pitch real quick. This is the big breaking ball off the outside corner. It's home run number 260. Get this, Rich. 130 home runs at home and 130 on the road.
Breaking ball, Stanton pulls it over Gordon's head. And the count 0-2. against NOLA now. Remember, he homered off him on the 22nd of August, and he's homered here. Oh, 2, a swing and a miss, and there's that great curveball by NOLA. 3-0 Miami. Over the Phils. We're joined now by Marlins President of Baseball Operations, MAIKEL Hill. Before we go any further, Pedro Florimon, have you talked to anybody, any of the people that were down there tending to him?
I have not heard. On my way up here, I passed our doctor and our x-ray tech, so I know that that's where Pedro was headed, and hopefully he's been seen, and we'll get an update, and hopefully it wasn't as bad as it looked on TV.
X-ray facilities are here in Marlins Park?
Yes, yes, that's pretty standard. Most ballparks have an X-ray on the premises for situations just like this. We can get a quick look and determine how serious something may be.
Aaron Nola's up right now. The Marlins have returned to their homering ways with 2 long balls, Stanton and Ozuna. Now, last night must have been a very enjoyable night for you until the end. Marlins lost the ball game. But watching Dylan Peters go 7 innings and watching Brian Anderson make his major league debut and look like he belongs out there at third base had to be very satisfying to you.
No, that's always an exciting moment for everyone in the organization when you have players that you've drafted and developed come up and debut in the big leagues and do what they're capable of doing. It's an exciting moment for everyone.
Well, last we talked to you, GIANCARLO Stanton hadn't started into the month of August. Having seen the month of August, what are your impressions of your right fielder now?
No, it's a different ball game when he gets hot, and we know what he's capable of doing, and it was a tremendous month to see him do what he's capable of doing and put a ball club on his back and really reinserted us into the playoff hunt, brought a lot of energy to the clubhouse and to this team, and his at-bats are must-see TV. Whenever he steps to the plate, you stop what you're doing, you drop your drink, your popcorn, whatever you're doing, because you know there's a chance for something special to happen.
Do you see that as unique? I mean, there aren't a lot of players that can take an offense and put the offense on their shoulders like Stanton has done to some degree in the game of baseball. This is, you know, I say this a lot, you know, this is basketball. You can have Michael Jordan moments, but that's hard to get in our game.
No question. It's a team sport, right? You a 9-man lineup, and you have to have contributions from everyone. But you know, when you've got D. Gordon getting on in front of them, so they have to pitch to him. You've got Christian Yelich doing his part and Ozuna doing his part. You have to pitch to him. And the thing that's been so special about his run, and I've heard you guys talk about it, he's not getting many pitches to hit. And during this stretch of August, his focus has been outstanding, and he hasn't missed that pitch.
Ball in the air. Anderson with Rojas. Sliding on the warning track. The degree of difficulty quite high, and he makes it look easy.
Special catch. Yeah, he had good communication with Anderson as he's heading over there. Anderson, he bails right there. You see, gives Rojas plenty of opportunity to get down on those legs and make that catch. Buys him an extra step or two. Well done.
That's our Bonefish Grill catch of the game. Great seafood, great cocktails, great people. Bonefish Grill. Here's Galvis now. Galvis lifts one in the air, and that's what you like to see from Dan Straley.
I'm still hot. A quick inning.
I know. You're not going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere.
And let's hope for a long bottom of the
a long bottom half.
There you go. The third here in Miami. Mike Hill, Marlins president of baseball operations, joins us. We're talking about Brian Anderson and Dylan Peters and his terrific night last night. Who else? Anybody else on the way, or are these the only two? Will there be more players coming up once minor league seasons end?
Well, I think the major reinforcements you'll see are some of our major leaguers returning to health. Wei-Yin Chen pitched successfully yesterday, and you should see him returning to join the staff here probably in the next day or so. Justin Bohr is on rehab today with the Double-A club, so we'll get him some at-bats and hopefully have him back. I think, you know, when we talk about the call-ups, it's always a different philosophy depending on where you are, and you look at our ball club and we still feel like we're in this thing, we're relevant. You're going to play your guys, you're going to play your everyday guys, and in talking with Donnie, we wanted to bring the right guys. We wanted to give him the reinforcements that he felt would help us win, and obviously you want to bring pitching, and we brought Peters, we brought Javi Guerra back. You add in Wei-Yin Chen to the mix, and we were already carrying an 8-man pin to begin with. just gives Donnie the flexibility and gives him the weapons as we get deeper into September and hopefully some meaningful games, very much so with the teams that are involved with the wild card, with Milwaukee, with Arizona, with Colorado. Just give him weapons to help him win games.
Chen's progression right now is a couple innings at a time. When he arrives, is it rotation or bullpen for him?
Yeah, we didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough season to get him stretched back out to reinsert him into the rotation. So you'll probably see him working in a bullpen role when he returns, and helping the club. That's all he wants to do. He wants to get back. He's healthy now, so that's paramount, that he's healthy, and he wants to do what he can to help this ball club win games.
Yelich chases and strikes out to open up the third.
Two-seam fastball from Nola, starting to tail down in the zone. That sinking action I talked about early in the ball game. All right, how about Dylan Peters last night threw 91 pitches in 7 innings. It turned into the longest outing of his season, which is amazing, right? He did it up here at the major league level in his first big league start. He'd gone 6 2/3 in the minor leagues. That's the longest he'd gone. I guess the question I have moving forward is he going to get obviously more opportunities in the starting rotation all the way through September? Is he free and clear of any kind of restrictions?
No, that was our plan when we talked about bringing Dylan and introducing him to the rotation, is to get him to work. The one thing that unfortunately happened for him earlier in the year, he took a comebacker and broke his thumb in 5 places. So we wanted to get him more innings. So as part of his continuing development and trying to finish him off, you want to give him innings, and he's scheduled obviously to pitch with us through September, and he's also slated to go to the Arizona Fall League, just so we can make up those innings that he missed during that 6 to 8 weeks when he was unavailable with the injury.
Michael, the Phillies, I think, surprised a lot of people in baseball when they got Juan Nicasio from the Pirates and claimed him off of irrevocable waivers. Were the Marlins interested? Was it a case of the Phillies had the first opportunity because of their record and they were the first to jump on him? Yeah,
when you look at the whole waiver process, it goes in reverse order. So the teams with the worst records obviously get the first crack at players on the waiver wire. And Nicasio's had success in the past, and during August, it's always interesting as you go through the trade waiver game. I know we talked about it a little bit my last time on. You put in claims on players that you think can help you, and very rarely do they get to you.
Right.
And even more difficult if you do win the claim to make a deal. And I think you saw as August came to an end and some of the moves that happened in advance of the playoff rosters being set, those were players that cleared waivers, and so you had opportunity to really dig in and try to negotiate a trade. It's it's an interesting dynamic, a lot different from the July non-trade waiver deadline, but as we saw leading up to that midnight deadline, there were still a lot of exciting things going on.
Marcell Ozuna up, 3-2 pitch. That's fastball right down the middle, and Ozuna strikes out. And so Aaron Nola all of a sudden struck out 2 to open up the third here. In fact, he struck out the last 3 he's faced, and those 3 are Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna. Here comes JT Realmuto. Your thoughts on Realmuto at first base? Don Mattingly has done that a few times now. JT seems to enjoy it. He always seems to have a big offensive night at first base.
Not many people know that he was a high school shortstop.
Oh, we know.
And so the dirt is comfortable for him. And when you talk to him about first base, it's an off day for him, getting off his knees and being able to stand upright. And you're involved. You're still heavily involved in the game. But it's not as much physical stress as being behind the plate, and we can keep his bat in the lineup. And that's something that we introduced in spring training when we went with the 8-man bullpen, was the ability to get him off of his legs, and that keeps him fresher and makes him more available to Don on a more frequent basis. And it's something that he took to immediately. You know, we have Perry Hill, you know, the most knowledgeable infield coach in all of baseball, and it didn't take long with Perry and JT over there, and it just gave Donnie another weapon to know that we could use JT at first and get him off of his knees, but keep his bat in the lineup.
Rinaldi takes a breaking ball out to center field. That's Williams out there now, and he makes the catch. Michael Hill, President of Baseball Operations, thanks for stopping by. We'll have you on again when we get to mid to late September, and let's hope the Fish are close at that point.
I look forward to it.
All right, Michael. Thanks, Michael.
All right.
We move along to the fourth inning, and I have the pleasure of talking with Sully Smith. This guy here not only threw out a great first pitch, but tell everybody what you want. You won a national competition representing the Marlins at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
What was it called?
It was called Pitch Hit and Run.
It's a national competition. Now, tell me about that competition. You had to go through qualifiers. This is 9 and 10 years old from all over the place, right? Tell me about how that competition was.
It was challenging because there was people really good, and in the national finals here at Marlins Park.
Were you nervous at all? Because I mean, this is a big competition at the All-Star game.
I wasn't that nervous.
Did you get to meet anybody? Did you meet any All-Stars or any former players?
No.
You'd probably like to be a player.
Yeah.
Tell me about the first pitch here today, because that was a very good first pitch, I thought.
Well, I didn't warm up, so it hurt a little bit. It hurt my leg and it hurt my arm a little.
Right. Long throw.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations here. This is kind of cool. This is his father here. Eddie, what did you think about his competition here?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, what an experience. I mean, this is one of those bucket list kind of things that just evolved, so really blessed.
All right, well, congratulations, everybody. Mom, you're pretty excited about this, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm very proud of everybody involved. It's a good he has a good support system.
All right, he looked comfortable out there. I'll tell you that for a first pitch for a guy who hadn't warmed up. And you remember that national pitch, hit, and run competition been going on for a long time as we look at that first pitch. Congratulations, represented the Marlins well and beat all the other teams, guys. Sully Smith, where are you from, Sully?
Jupiter, Florida.
From Jupiter, where the Marlins train. Back to you guys.
Pretty good. Thank you, Craig. Good toss. Yeah. Now, were you as a youngster? Because it was the Boys and Girls Club in my local town that sponsored that. So I was in that competition.
I never participated in one ever.
There was a football equivalent called punt, pass,
oh,
and
yeah,
kick.
that I did a year in and year out. The passing and the punting, I was okay with. The kicking, not so much. I did that with football. I never did it with baseball. In fact, I didn't even know till tonight that there was one. Pretty cool stuff.
Rhys Hoskins up. He singled in the second. Nick Williams a double to open up the fourth. Dan Straley misses in. A 3-0 Miami lead. Giancarlo Stanton, Marcell Ozuna with home runs for the Fish. And Hoskins fouls that back. Now Hoskins has faced Straley one other time, and he homered against him. Was 1 for 3 with a homer. That was in Straley's start on the 22nd. That was the doubleheader day, the Marlins and the Phillies.
I don't think the question that day was who homered. The question was who didn't.
Yeah, that was a small ballpark, hot weather, a lot of home runs. Breaking ball, driven center, Yelich back at the wall, and that one is gone. And Hoskins has homered again. A dozen now for the Phillies rookie.
Last night, his timing was off just a bit. Had to deal with the Peters breaking ball. Tonight, that timing is on. Talked about that swinging gait that he has for a front leg, how he tucks his hip. He's been on Australian on time tonight. That's the slider. Actually working its way down. Doesn't get all the way to where it needs to be. Ends up out over the plate. Watch the extension. Watch the hands through the zone and extend out towards Dan Straley. Long home run.
That one was in the waves. That's in the gap. Ozuna cuts it off. Joseph around first. He'll hold with a single. And the Phillies have come out and hit 3 balls hard against Straley. This is the second time through for this trio. Williams a double, Hoskins a homer, Joseph a single.
Much like the series in Philadelphia 10 days or so ago, it's the middle of these lineups kind of slugging it out. Watching Hoskins get after Tommy Joseph certainly started to find his stroke, and you know, Williams was doing what Williams has done all second half, which is drive in runs and get on base. 3-2 Marlins right now, both in the middle of their lineups producing.
Franco swings and misses. What a ride it's been for Hoskins. He and Stanton have really had an interesting run ever since Hoskins made his big league debut, which was on the 10th of August. He's on an incredible home run pace, but Stanton's just in front of him. So those two guys have paced all of baseball. So since the 10th of August, Stanton's hit 14. Hoskins has hit a dozen.
Hoskins is going to continue to try to prove to all of baseball it's real. It's not that it's not. I'm just talking that it's been a short-term home run binge, and I think people are curious to see if his power, and of course only time will tell, if he is going to be, you know, chasing Stanton up and down the leaderboard when it comes to home runs. So far he has been right there at the beginning of his career.
In the air to right, Stanton's got it lined up. And he makes the catch. That's the first out of the fourth. Marlins and Phillies tomorrow finish up the series. Aquafina family 4-pack starts at $84. 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all beef hot dogs, 4 Pepsi soft drinks, or Aquafina waters. Purchase tickets at marlins.com/Aquafina. First at bat for Hyung-Soo Kim. If you weren't with us earlier, Pedro Florimon in the second trying to leg out an infield hit. Beat the ball, but then turned his ankle on first base. Stanton cuts it off nicely, spins and fires to second. That'll keep Joseph at third base. But Kim has got a hit, and the Phillies now, with one out, have runners at the corners.
Kim now 8 for 24 over his last 10 ball games. Gets a fastball to the inside part of the plate. 89 miles an hour. Turns on it pretty well. Rips it to right. Giancarlo cut it off and get it back in. Juan Nicasio out for a quick trip to the mound. Kim Rupp struck out his first at bat in the second inning. He's a double play candidate.
Florimon was helped from the fields by emergency personnel, and it appeared to be a rather severe injury to his either right ankle or lower leg. We'll update you when we get a chance. Line drive right to short, and that's exactly what Straley needed there. Now if he can get Aaron Nola, he will hang on to the lead, although it was 3-0 when the inning started.
For the type of contact that this inning has been about, it's a big out right there. Obviously a big spot. Pitcher coming up makes him execute his pitches here. He should be able to get out of this inning. Nola hitting a soft 0-51 on the season.
Is there a hard 0-51?
No, I tried not to laugh when I said that. You're making me laugh now, though.
A tepid 0-51.
That's right. Listen, I still have a lot of baseball player. I mean, you know, you don't want to say things, you don't want to speak them into being. Of course, Nola does have a hit this season, and in fact, could very capably get a base hit right here. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Well, one thing you'll learn in this position is we got nothing to do with it.
That's right.
What we want and what we hope for.
Hey, listen, that's just the ball player coming out. That's the way you think. That's why everybody's got their socks up tonight.
Breaking ball misses outside, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rhys Hoskins, 2-run homer here in the 4th. Straley now runs the count full on the pitcher, Nola. Cesar Hernandez is on deck. "3-2, that's out." And now, rather than Nola and his soft 0-51, you can see where that pitch missed.
Throw strikes.
Now he faces Hernandez. His average sits at 284. It's his career with the bases loaded. He has walked and hit that pop-up in which Rojas made a spectacular sliding catch. Roller to first. Talise is there. It's fair, and he gets the outs. And Straley leaves him loaded. The Phillies get on the board. It's a 1-run Marlin lead. Is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass. By Hankook Tires, chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Miami proper. And a 3-2 Marlins lead. Bottom 4. All the big bats have homered, it seems like. Stanton, OZUNA for the Marlins, Hoskins for the Phils. Let's do a little AARP, getting to know Brian Anderson. 3rd round pick, 76 overall, University of Arkansas. Edmond, Oklahoma is home for him. Made the All-Star team in the minors, on his way up 3 times. Futures game here at Marlins Park. And last night a Major League debut, was 1 for 3, handled everything at 3rd base. Really was tearing it up the last month in AAA. So he's earned this promotion. Marlins welcome him. A little pop from the right side. And he's in there tonight. He struck out in the 1st.
Combination of 2-seam fastballs and breaking balls. NOLA put him away. Elevated fastball. Seems like NOLA has found his 2-seamer. Less is more. Picked up on that in the 1st inning. He saw 94 and 95 out of his hand. I wonder if that started to take away from some of the movement. You see now he's incorporating the changeup. His fastball is now sitting at 90, 91, but it has a lot more movement to it, a lot more depth. You see that high of 95? That was about the 1st inning. Sometimes you can throw through your break.
Changeup, righty on righty. And the count 1-2.
Very effective pitch. Throws it about 15% of the time. Just compliment his fastball.
Marlins getting a little help from a South Florida native. Nova Southeastern product. J.D. Martinez. A 3-run homer in the 1st inning. In Arizona, 3-0 over Colorado. That's bottom 1st at Coors Field. Of course, the Marlins are 6 back of the 2nd wild card, and Colorado currently holds that spot.
This is a less about the pursuit of the Diamondbacks, more about the Rockies. First things first. So you want to see the Diamondbacks, who I believe Diamondbacks and Rockies have about 6 more games to play this season. You certainly want to see the Diamondbacks take it to the Rockies. It's the fastest way for the Marlins to make up ground.
The 2 best hitting environments in the sport, right? Coors Field and then Arizona,
right?
Milwaukee a game and a half back to start play tonight behind Colorado. St. Louis 4 back. We told you earlier that the Cardinals lost. The Giants walked off and beat them 2-1. Is that Nick Hundley I saw going yard?
Yeah, opposite way.
There's a BB up the middle into center field, and a base hit, 2nd Major League hit for Brian Anderson.
A really nice at bat. Again, a nice approach. His 1st at bat, he struck out this evening. It wasn't a bad at bat. Down to 3-2. Similar to this at bat, working the count, sees lots of pitches, gets a 2-seam fastball, manageable out over the plate, 93 miles an hour. Lines it right back through the middle. Some good signs from Mr. Anderson so far. Just two games against the Phillies.
It's Elise now. You got Rojas on deck. And NOLA misses away. Nationals and Milwaukee. Remember, that series is up in Milwaukee, and it's 1-1. Brewers and Nats top 5. That's a Max Scherzer start for the Nationals. That pop-up's going to find the seats. every run produced tonight from a home run. Solo shot by GIANCARLO Stanton. 2-run homer Marcell OZUNA. 2-run homer RHYS Hoskins. Great scene in Houston today. Sylvester Turner, the mayor of Houston, threw out the first pitch. Baseball returned to that city.
Rupp got hammered on the backswing from Talise. Talise went down to get a piece of this breaking ball. Watch the extension, watch the mask. Clipped him.
You see that often when a catcher moves forward for a ball in the dirt.
Well, it's a lethal combination for catchers because you have a breaking ball and a 2-strike pitch, a hitter trying to get to that pitch, number one, so he's reaching, which means extension. Usually the top hand comes off the bat, and then you've got the catcher who's thinking block the pitch. So it is a dangerous combination for a catcher. He's got to be very careful.
Talise goes down and gets that one, shoots it down the right field line. Kim can't handle it, and Anderson's around third and on his way home. Talise steaming into third, and he's in there. 4-2 Miami. Young-Soo Kim didn't get the best of jumps, and then when he got to the ball, couldn't handle it.
Real nice adjustment by Talise in the at-bat. We just talked about that breaking ball down in the zone that he fouled off. Well, guess what? He gets another one, except this one not as far down. Rips it into right. Kim on his way over to cut it off, doesn't. That's going to allow a hustling Anderson, who was running the bases very well around third, to score. Now watch this. Here's the read. You're going to pick up your third base coach. You're coming, you're coming, you're coming. Keep coming. That's the read. You don't let up. You don't assume that you're only going to stop at third base. I can guarantee you when that ball was hit, he was probably like, I got to get to third. Freddie keeps him coming because you don't know what's going on behind you.
Now Rojas. Miami trying to cash in this next run here. They're going to call that a triple. And so Talise gets not only a triple, but also an RBI.
This is a big at-bat for Rojas. This is the situations that we've talked about over the last 5 or 6 ball games.
And he got Straley on deck.
All right, changes the entire complexion of the inning. You get the job done right here under all circumstances, whatever it takes. Deep fly ball, base hit, slow roller. Get him in from third.
Nola's breaking ball, which is one of the best in baseball, misses outside. Fangraphs is a site that you like to hang around on. They've ranked the best curveballs with all that data they've got. Corey Kluber #1, Aaron Nola #2.
It's generated the 4th most swing and misses in all of baseball. Of course, Kluber at the top of that list.
Phillies infield has come in now. Count 3-1.
Might be the best breaking ball he's thrown all night. Key spot. He needed the strike. He certainly does not want to put Rojas on. Don't see first base is open. Nola has got to get Rojas out in his mind. An opportunity for Straley to execute a sacrifice bunt. Then it's back to the top of the lineup if he does not get Rojas.
Rojas up the middle. Talise will score. Ball hits the bag. And Rojas has got an RBI single. Miami's on top now 5-2.
Get it done any way you can. How about a nice at bat after a, we'll call it a wicked curveball on a 3-1 pitch. Nice piece of hitting on another curveball. And just off the plate. Would have been a base hit either way. Gets a little help from second base just to make sure. So there you go. Base hit with a runner in scoring position. They've been hard to come by of late. Miguel Rojas gets it done.
That hit does a lot of things. It scores the run. It gets Straley to the plate where he can bunt, and it gets Stanton closer. You can see Giancarlo on the stairs of the dugout watching. Gordon's on deck. Here's Straley. He squares. He fouls the bunt off.
Generally with sinker ballers, you don't have to put too much effort into the bunting. Their ball naturally sinks. Nola's not one. I don't think he's going to try to elevate on Dan Straley. He's just got to get the bat out. The ball down.
Franco creeping closer at third. Straley hits a line drive up the line. And it's 0-2. Gordon tripled his last time up. Stanton has homered tonight. Those are the two hitters waiting to see if Dan Straley can put Rojas in scoring position. And he fails to do so. It goes as a strikeout. And before Gordon arrives, South Florida Honda dealers get you going. Marlins Live. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, drawing the mascots. Very nice. Is that Craig's work? Or is he just putting the finishing touches? That's in the press dining room. There is an artist up there. We see that chalk drawing every night.
Craig's still on color by numbers.
It's just not right. Nola steps off. Gordon struck out in the first, tripled in the second. Stanton watching intently from the on-deck circle. Changeup starts the at-bat and misses out. How about Gordon right now? 7 straight, 14 hits in those 7 games, including tonight's triple.
Well, he gets another hit tonight. They will all be multi-hit games. He's been on fire. On consistently, wreaking havoc out there. As we showed in the pregame show, haven't really been turning it into run production. That's the key.
Strike to D. Yeah, this stretch looks a lot like his season in 2015 when he won the batting title.
He's just hitting everything in sight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Line to line, I would assume.
Line to line, hit it hard, infield hits, bunt hits.
My favorite are the ones like we just saw with Kim here. He was a little off positionally. Kind of that no man's land where you see D just open it up. I mean, he just kicks it into gear fast and you see him streaking around the bases. I mean, stand-up triples don't happen often in the game.
Gordon, a little tapper. Nola bare hands. Fires to first in time to get him. What do you do here if you're Pete Mackanin? First base is open. There's 2 outs. And here comes Stanton. Now, the last time Stanton was at the plate, he struck out. And at the end of the at-bat, Stanton tossed the bat, kind of shook that left wrist a little bit. So we'll see if there's any after effects.
Let's hope that's not the case.
That right side is open. 3 infielders left side. Stan hits a little roller, and Nola again fields, fires to first in time to get him. But the Marlins put up 2 and lead it now 5-2. Houston. Very emotional day in that city. First major event, and once it got rolling, the city and the Astros got a chance to take it out on Harvey. Matt Harvey, ironically pitching for the Mets. Mets won that first game big, 12-8, and they've started the second game. It's a doubleheader, first doubleheader at that ballpark at Minute Maid. And it's scoreless in the third.
Well, that's a circumstance that really doesn't come upon a team that's got a retractable roof. You're right.
Freddie Galvis is the hitter. Dan Straley gave up his first 2 runs. Rhys Hoskins got him for a 2-run homer. He'll face Hoskins this inning. It's Galvis, it's Williams, and Hoskins. To left, Ozuna is there. Marcell makes the catch. And Straley's got an out here in the 5th. He's at 79 pitches.
Did a nice job last inning, the 4th, navigating through the traffic and some hard hit balls. Got himself through it.
Now Williams takes a changeup for a strike right at the letters.
Williams got his first hit of the series. Start that 4th inning with a double on the left field line.
This is a guy that's made a really nice impression on the Phillies, both the front office and the coaching staff. Williams strikes out. Felice steps on the bag. So a strikeout, 2 outs. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Snowball Express and their commitment to providing new happy memories to the children of our fallen heroes from 9/11. Snowball Express provides an annual life-changing event to make each child feel special. We remember. Visit FoxSportsSupports.com for more. Well, Hoskins got Straley last time they met, and he got him here tonight, sending one deep into the home run sculpture.
Hanging slider out over the plate was the pitch. Straley breaks out one of his breaking balls, his curveball. First pitch. Doesn't throw that too often. Trying to get ahead. He's falling behind 2-0.
Hoskins again cranks one into the corner. Ozuna retrieves it. This young man has had a marvelous ride since getting to the big leagues. He's a triple shy of the cycle here. Single homer, now double.
Two-seam fastball tails back to the inside part of the plate. Now that's 3 consecutive pitches on the inside. Certainly got Hoskins' attention. He was ready for number 3, right? There you go. Rips it down the left field line and is on for the 3rd time in the ball game. So look at last night and throw that out. If you thought that Hoskins was cooling off because he struck out 3 times last night, think again.
Tommy Joseph has struck out single. Straley with the breaking ball gets a strike, and it's 0-1. Joseph, originally a catcher in the Giants organization. The Pence trade brought him to Philly. And as a catcher, we've talked about the concussion issues that he's had. Switch to first base has allowed him to just worry about hitting. A really nice year last year. 107 games, 21 homers.
If he can put together a big September, he'll have an impressive first full season. These numbers are pretty decent this year. If he heats up one more time.
Drives it to left and hits it well. Ozuna looking up, and Tommy Joseph blasts that one out of here. And Miami's lead is down to 1 again.
Second home run for the Phillies tonight. As I said a little earlier, it seems like it's the battle of the middle of the lineups. Going all the way back to the Phillies series in Philadelphia. Well, don't forget about Tommy Joseph. Goes down and gets a slider. Absolutely hammers it.
That's a 2-out rally.
20th home run of the season, 65th RBI. See the head down, driving through the baseball. His 4th home run in 13 games versus the Marlins this year.
And that one stings.
Laser off the bat of Joseph, 399 feet, 107 miles an hour off the bat.
I remarked about an inning ago that the sluggers have all slugged tonight. Stanton and Ozuna for Miami, and now for the Phillies, Hoskins and Joseph. Slugger's gonna slug. That one out of play. 1-2. That one's lined into left field. Miami's bullpen has been quiet, but I don't know that that's going to remain. Another 2-out hit here. Straley got the first 2 outs of the inning. Hoskins lined a double. Joseph homered. And Franco has singled. The Phillies are actually out hitting the Marlins right now with 9 up on the board to Miami's 8.
Nieves out to the mound, have a little chat. Dan Straley, traditionally we talk with Dan Straley about bad contact balls off the end of the bat, slow rollers on the infield. When you see him at his best, mixing in a few strikeouts, that's typically the case. Tonight, that has not been the case. As you just said, last 2 innings, 4th and 5th, these have been rockets off the bats of the Philadelphia Phillies hitters. They've been working down in the zone. You think back to the Joseph swing, he worked down to get it, got a slider. Get a slider right there on Franco's at bat.
All about the you, I get it. Kim now to left. Ozuna's got it lined up and makes the catch. And the Phillies get back up again and strike for 2. Tommy Joseph is 20th. This is the walk-off homer from Nick Hundley, and what makes it unique, it's a right-handed homer in the opposite field in San Francisco. Very rare, but a big one not only for the Giants but for the Marlins. The Cardinals ahead of the Marlins in that wild card chase. Walk-off celebration there. The mood for Dan Straley not as jubilant. He's given up 2 two-run homers. Miami still has the lead, but it's just a run. It's 5-4. Halfway through in Miami tonight. And you've got Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, and JT Realmuto at the plate. Yelich bangs one deep center field. Williams diving, and he doesn't get it. And the ball gets to the wall. And Yelich is racing for third. Up with the ball is Williams. Stop sign for Yelich. And 3 bases.
Punch, counter punch. It's been going on all night. Marlins turn, that's right. Bottom 5, Yelly leading off. Beautiful swing. This is a changeup, circle change. Look where it's at the belt. Drives it the other way. Tailing action. Watch Williams. He actually gets a little tailing action to deal with right there. Good effort. The ball came to rest at the wall. Sealed the deal as far as a triple. That ball settled in.
infield halfway. Ozuna. It's a fastball out.
Be careful with this man, Marcell Ozuna, in the box. He may get somebody hurt.
Marlins have 3 triples tonight. Gordon, Yelich, and Tomas Talis, of all people.
Marcell Ozuna and Giancarlo Stanton obviously have homered in tonight's ballgame. That's the 11th time they've done it this season. Ties club record. Where Gonzalez did it in 2004. They had 11, so the next time they do it will be the new team record.
Ozuna into center field, a base hit, and in comes Yelich. The home runs are great, but it's nice to see Miami put together rallies and get singles to knock in runs.
It's called working together. You're absolutely right. It's the extension of good innings. Love talking about RHYS runners in scoring position. Hopper through the middle gets the job done. As they say, you bring the infield in, you make a 300 hitter a 400 hitter, and I think that's a pretty good example of it right there.
6-4 Miami. Nobody out. Real Muto is 1 for 2. He pulls one in the hole at short. Galvis pretty good over there, and it's scooped by Hernandez. Off the bat, knowing that it's Galvis, you expect him to make that play, but that's not easy. Jump.
Strong throw to Hernandez. That's the only out he's going to get. Nobody on it. It's JT. He's going to beat that out every time to first base. Galvis knows it. Strong throw to second. Rios up in the Phillies bullpen.
And it would be Yaxo Rios. Brian Anderson now. There are now, look, the family made it out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Bob and Blake. Bob, his father. Blake, his brother. Got the rally cap going. They know the drill. And they know JT Real Muto as well. I'm sure they're saying, hey,
know that guy.
Know that guy. Midwest City, right?
Right.
Carl Albert High School, right? Yep. Anderson at Deer Creek High School played against Real Muto in high school in Oklahoma. Real Muto runs, breaking ball down, and JT's got it stolen easily. Well, he's just showing off now. That's 8 stolen bases this season, his second tonight.
Well, listen, he's picking good pitches to go on. He's feeling frisky over at first base tonight. And almost stealing it on NOLA, but again, picking good pitches to go on. Both breaking balls, both stolen bases. RBI opportunity, Brian Anderson.
And a 2-0 pitch. There's mom and his fiance. She made it in last night with all the flooding and the weather in the Southwest. A lot of the flights out of Oklahoma were either canceled or booked, so they were able to get here today. Let's check in with Craig. Craig?
Yeah, I was just talking to Bob. We're going to talk to him next inning, but he says he vividly recalls Brian playing against JT when JT was a shortstop at Carl Albert High School in Oklahoma. Pretty cool now that he's on second and his son has a chance to drive him in.
Small world, isn't it? They're right up against each other in the batting order.
Continues to put together good at bats. Good to see. Love to say, oh, I want to pick up my first RBI here and expand your strike zone. He has not done that. He's been very patient.
Good bat. So Anderson walks, and that brings up Talis. Phillies bullpen is active. That's Rick Kranitz, former Marlin pitching coach, and a pitching coach in the big leagues with a lot of success. Bob McClure is the pitching coach. Kranitz is his assistant. You see that a lot now. Teams have added assistant hitting coaches. Some have added assistant pitching coaches.
Makes sense if organizations are willing to do it. You've got a lot of players to manage. I used to ask the question when I played, we only had one hitting coach. That one hitting coach's responsibility of all his entire lineup and the extra guys. Extra set of hands, extra set of eyes. I get it. Teams have to be willing to do it, though, and you're seeing more and more of that in Major League Baseball. It makes sense.
Talese takes a strike. Talese tripled to drive in a run in the 4th. He knocked in Anderson from first. Anderson's at first right now with Real Muto at second. The pitch runs out. Both starters in the mid-90s pitch count. This will be number 94 for Nola. Straley in his 5 innings, 95.
Marlins have done a very nice job tonight against Nola. We're ranting and raving about how good he's been this year. We'll take our word for it. He has been, just not against the Marlins so much. Marlins have done a fantastic job of getting him in the zone. Laid off the borderline pitches. Been aggressive in the right spots. A few breaking balls hard, a few fastballs as well. Those aren't bad splits right there. That's actually your traditional splits off of 95 pitches. You'd like to see around 62 to 65 strikes. Really, it's just the loud damage that the Marlins have done against him. Again, I didn't want to blow it out of proportion, but his previous start against the Marlins, 9 hits, 6 extra base hits.
Yeah, and 2 home runs, just like tonight.
Well, and you mentioned the 3 triples. It's a very similar set of circumstances. They have slugged him, if you will. It's not like they're just peppering him with base hits in the hole. I mean, these are balls that are rocketing off the bats.
Two and 2. 1 out, bottom 5. Struck him out. Nola catches the corner, and Talese goes down. Here comes Rojas.
You see Nola did a nice job setting Talese up. This fastball tails it inside corner, or I should say off the inside corner, back to the inside corner. But key to it was that's the first time he went in there. Saw the other 4 pitches on the outside part of the plate. Talese surprised that fastball.
Rojas turns on one and hits it foul. Rojas in the 8th spot. And it's Ichiro who has climbed on deck. That's Straley's position. You wonder if Rojas makes an out here, if Straley comes out to pitch the 6th. Nola gets a breaking ball over. It's 0-2.
Rojas is hot. Time and time again, we see him with 2 strikes go to right field. It's something he might be able to stay inside of.
Breaking ball, a little dribbler. Franco charging and throwing and getting Rojas. And Miami will leave that runner. 6-4. Marlins add a run. Let's go to the 6th. T-Mobile unlimited baseball break. Clayton Kershaw off the DL. Dodgers and a 5-game skid. It's that simple. A 1-0 win over the Padres last night. Jimmy Nelson for the Brewers. His last 2 wins beat the Dodgers and the Nats. And how about Matt Harvey today? Off the DL, comes on in. 7 runs in 2 innings. That game 1 of the doubleheader in Houston. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
Exciting night for the Anderson family. This is Brian Anderson's dad, Bob, his brother, Blake. So did you always know he was going to make the major leagues, Bob?
Well, the first game he ever played, coming home in the car, he said, I'm going to play Major League Baseball. And you know, you go, I suppose it's possible.
How old was he?
He was probably 5 and a half at that point. So it's just something he's known he's always wanted to do, and it's what he is, what he does, and so.
And now you're here tonight watching him do it.
Pretty exciting stuff. I just trying to take it all in, and can't be happier for him.
Yeah, that's exciting. And for you, Blake, his brother, this is exciting stuff.
Oh, it's absolutely fascinating. You know, I remember 20 years ago, him and I trying to, every day we're playing home run derby in the backyard, just trying to emulate guys like Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, and now he shares the field with a guy like Giancarlo Stanton. It's really hard to imagine that it would have come to this.
What do you think of that Stanton homer?
That is the first time I have ever seen a human hit a baseball that far. That was absolutely phenomenal.
We'll get to see a lot more of that, but the other thing is Brian's so poised, Bob. Where does all that come from? Even Don Mattingly said he didn't think this would be too big of a stage for him.
I think, you know, just playing all the ball that he's played, traveling teams, college baseball, I mean, it's just, you know, it's a process. It's just how you grow, and you got to kind of grow into your job. And that just, like I said, that's his focus in life, and here he is.
Well, gets the and you yourself didn't play baseball.
I did not. So.
Any sports yourself?
Nope. Nope.
There it is. That's the answer. I have a non-athletic father, and it works.
How we get here, I don't care.
Yeah, no, well, maybe it's Mom. Sammy's back there somewhere, but she didn't want to talk to us. So congratulations, though. I know it's exciting, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
I appreciate it, and go Marlins.
Okay. We got some new Fish fans in Oklahoma, guys.
Very nice. Dustin McGowan into the ball game. Dan Straley, 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, couple homers. Brian Anderson down there at third base, and McGowan has the first out. Ty Kelly is up. Kelly takes down low. There's Dustin and his season.
He is recovering from a few bad outings. Not his last one, much better. This is his first appearance in the Phillies series. It's an ERA at 4.10. It's been around the high 2s, low 3s all season until a bit of a rough patch, but he's looks like he's back. That fastball is down. The slider is sliding. It's got a good result so far.
Kelly getting the pinch hitting call here. Switch hitter. Count 2-2. Got a lefty in Adam Morgan. Pinto the right-hander, and Kelly swings and misses at a breaking ball.
Nicely done by McGowan. Set that up well. So this breaking ball at 86 miles an hour complements the 93, 95 that he was throwing earlier. Ty Kelly way out in front.
Now Hernandez with 2 outs, nobody on.
And is a big at bat his last time up. But with the bases loaded, the chance to turn the tides for the Phillies. Grounded out to first. First pitch he saw. Dan Straley.
That Arizona Rockies game is now top 4, and it's still 3-0 Arizona. D. Gordon got a big hop, fires to first. Very nice inning for Dustin McGowan. 6-4 here, Miami on top. '63, this date in Major League history, Pete Rose hit Jay Hook's first pitch into the Polo Grounds seats as the Reds beat the Mets 1-0. And a lot more hits would follow for Pete Rose. This a bullpen game now. Ricardo Pinto for the Phillies against the bottom of the 6th. He's going to get Ichiro, D. Gordon, and Giancarlo Stanton. So this should be a fun inning. Glad you're with us tonight. 6-4. Marlins on top, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. The Marlins outscored 28-8 in those 5 games. Ichiro fan there.
I like that t-shirt. It's like a life-size picture of Ichiro on the back.
Look, I've seen a lot following Ichiro first in Seattle and then getting a chance for the last 3 seasons here. he has some very creative, very loyal fans that have followed him to a lot of places. There's that one fan who dresses like Ichiro, imitates Ichiro, looks like Ichiro, wears a uniform just like Ichiro, which actually is kind of creepy. But
yeah, I wasn't going to say that. I'm glad you did. But yeah,
haven't seen him. Haven't seen him lately,
right?
Which is okay by me. 1-2.
Pinto's had a rough time with the Marlins this season. 6 innings, 7 earned runs. Those coming in 4 games.
Ichiro, of course, as he enters this final month of the season. Fly ball left, hit pretty well. Hoskins back and makes the catch. Ichiro 23 pinch hits. He's 5 shy of the all-time Major League record for pinch hits in a season, 28 by John Vanderwall. Here's Gordon now. Struck out, tripled, bounced out. Rolls one out towards second. Hernandez to first. Toyota brings you an inside look, brought to you by the all-new RAV4. When Giancarlo gets a hit, that's what the Marlins are this season. Goes hitless, you can see 10 and 34. Has an RBI, 40 and 22. Hits a homer, very bottom, 28 and 14. And in his career, when he homers, the Marlins are over 600.
I like the 2+ RBI one.
First at bat against Pinto here tonight. He's got a couple of bobbleheads in there, like the sponsor on the one on the left. Stanton fouls that one there. Don't see any residual effects of him shaking that left wrist. Count 1 ball and 1 strike here.
Up out to give home plate umpire a second. This catches him square in the face. Face masks.
It's Roberto Ortiz. Stanton's home run in the first went 445 feet. Banged up near the top of Jeff Conine's stairway to heaven up there. At the very top of it. That was number 52. Oh! 115 off the bat.
There you go, another one of 110 plus. That is his 28th.
Pinto stays outside. Stand a sharp ground ball, and it goes under the glove of Hernandez. The Phillies second baseman was on that side of the infield. Tried to backhand it. That thing was hit hard and scooted under the glove.
There's no doubt this ball is hit hard. A little top spin on it as well. Sure, Hernandez would tell you he should have had it.
Base hit. Stan gets the hit. Goes as a 2-out single, and here's Yelich. Yelich has singled. He's tripled on a 2-for-3 night. Christian Yelich with a couple of triples this year. Believe it or not, Tomas Talis has one more triple than Christian Yelich. Talis has got 3. D. Gordon has 6. In Marlins history, triples in a game, the record is 4. Only happened once, 1995 against the Giants. 3 triples here tonight. Gordon, Yelich, Talise. And Yelich lines it to left. A 3-hit night for Christian Yelich.
Certainly makes sense. Look forward to seeing those socks jacked up tomorrow.
No kidding.
0-2 changeup. The downward action off the outside corner. How about the approach from Christian Yelich? Staying right on it, head down, barrel through, line drive to left. Boy, that is some impressive hitting right there.
Now Ozuna. Marcell's driven in 3 tonight. It gives him 106 on the season. 2-run homer, RBI single. Florida Lottery jackpot gives you RBI leaders Arenado and Stan, 111 apiece. Paul Goldschmidt 109 and Ozuna at 106.
RBI single his last time up. Marcell Ozuna back through the middle. 1 pitch, 1 spot here.
Ozuna ground ball, left field, base hit, Stanton around third, coming home. Hoskins up, throw to the plate is not in time. Stanton scores, everybody else moves up, and it's 7-4.
Nice job, nice piece of hitting by Marcell Ozuna. Nice job by Freddie Gonzalez, the third base coach. That is a great send right there. You watch it in real time. Here's the changeup. Marcell out in front, but enough to get it through the left side. Hoskins does a nice job of getting to the baseball, but Freddie Gonzalez is sending him on the inexperience of the left fielder. See, that's right. 2 outs. He's going to take a risk. He's going to take a chance that this throw will be offline. Look where it ends up. Look how far up the line it is. That's an inexperienced left fielder. Everything about that's great, except he gets his shoulders open quick. That's why the ball goes up the line. Great send with 2 outs.
Real Muto now. 2 more runs out there. Pinto misses away. JT's 1 for 3 and has 2 stolen bases. 4 RBIs for Ozuna. We should bring that Florida in-game jackpot back and update it, shouldn't we?
That or Michael Hill.
That's a good call. JT fouls 1 back.
All right, Marlins fans. Last night, Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna, Real Muto 0 for 13 tonight. That's right, 9 for 15. Much, much better. Middle of that lineup producing.
Very nicely done. Tim McDermott is our critically acclaimed producer. Christian Roberts, well-lauded director. Our graphic department has been highly decorated. Ken Lee. Marcus back there as well. Little roller, cut off, and out at first, barely out. Franco cutting in front of Galvis, just gets the out. 7-4, Miami adds a run. If you would like to donate to the relief efforts in Texas and in Louisiana, visit redcross.org or text Harvey to 90999. That will automatically make a $10 donation. All week, including the National Series, any donation that you have would be appreciated. The American Red Cross will be here. Any supplies as well, clothing. I love what a lot of college athletic departments have done. Kelvin Sampson is the head basketball coach, excuse me, of the University of Houston. And he challenged other basketball coaches and asked them to send shirts, shoes, sweats, and a lot of athletic departments from basketball to football to baseball have started to donate and send stuff to Houston. Brian Ellington on the mound. Brady Galvis fouls it back. 98 miles an hour on that fastball. And a 7-4 lead for the Marlins.
That's great to see everybody in this country caring for one another. Certainly some trying times over the last few years. Everybody rallying around people of Houston.
Galvis, Williams, Hoskins. This is a part of the order that the Phillies have used for offense. Hoskins has 3 hits, 2-run homer. Joseph has 2 hits, 2-run homer. Joseph due up 4th in the inning. And Williams has doubled and scored. He's up next. And it's a night tonight for the Marlins where they might be down a couple arms in the bullpen. Brad Ziegler's worked 2 nights in a row with his lower back. You're not sure if he can go 3. Kyle Bearclaw went an inning and a third in game 1, and then last night a scoreless inning as well. So you're not sure about Bearclaw either.
Well, you got the right man for the job in Ellington out there. He's been outstanding over his last 3 appearances, and that's the key. You know, moving him along, giving him more opportunity. 9 strikeouts in his last 4 innings. Marlins have known, and as we know, the best arms just about anybody's bullpen.
Pop-up is out of play. Don Mattingly was talking about Ellington the other day, and he referenced that game in Texas. Remember, Brian came in, just had all kinds of problems throwing strikes. And Mattingly said he's used that game as fodder for bouncing back and throwing better. He said that, you know, some guys have a game like that and it's downhill, but he's been quite happy that Ellington was able to build off that and get it turned around. And there was another moment that stands out in that ball game.
That's where Giancarlo pulled him aside. Basically told him his stuff's too good to be watching what we're watching out there. Plain and simple baseball talk right there. I think Ellington took it to heart. He's had some bumps along the way, but he's bouncing back much better. See his August performance, solid. He's got the ability to overwhelm hitters at times. Very few that possess that skill.
There's your Phillies box score, and you see the damage in the middle. 2 2-run homers.
See these defensive swings from Galvis. That at 101 miles an hour. Called emergency hacks. Just doing anything he can to get the barrel on the ball and stay alive.
Ozuna makes the catch. Marlins Park on Friday, September 16th. First 7,500 fans 21 and over will receive a Marlins floral cap courtesy of Corona Light. So the Fish take on the Brewers at 7. Get your tickets at marlins.com/ tickets, a floral Marlins cap, Corona Lights. Want to know to Nick Williams. Williams swings and fouls that off. Williams, the 23-year-old. Certainly this hasn't been easy for him. The Hurricane Harvey, Galveston is his hometown. He was originally drafted by Texas in the second round. Came over in the Cole Hamels trade from Texas to Philly. That's a trade that's worked out for both teams, hasn't it? I mean, the Phillies got what they wanted. They get young players that have been valuable and useful in their rebuilding effort, and the Rangers have an ace in their rotation.
Well, the hard part of that is the admission to oneself that the player that you have is not part of your future, and I think that's just really what it comes down to when you talk about Cole Hamels. Probably could have gone back and forth on that one. Nice fastball. How about the last two pitches? That sequencing from Ellington. Are you kidding me? 85-mile-an-hour breaking ball to the outside part of the plate, and the fastball underneath his hands at 99 miles an hour. That is impressive stuff.
Well, for Philly fans, in a disappointing season, this guy's been a bright light. Now has a dozen homers. He's doubled and singled. A triple for a cycle is what he needs. The last Philly to hit for the cycle was back in 2004. That's the year they opened Citizens Bank Park. David Bell, as a Philly, did it against Montreal. It's never been done by a Phillies rookie. Hoskins facing Brian Ellington. And Ellington gets strike two.
Looks like tonight he's going to have that good slider to go along with it, which the hitters are going to have to respect if he can throw it for strikes, much like he did to Williams. You see Hoskins behind that fastball.
Ellington, a Gainesville native. Breaking ball missed outside. Brian had Tommy John surgery in high school, went to a couple of junior colleges, and then ended up at the University of West Florida. Hoskins gets hit on a fastball in that right hand wrist area. Let's hope he's okay.
Probably be the underside of that right wrist as he turns into the pitch. Two-seam fastball. It's chasing. See how it's going. Watch JT Realmuto's glove, and yeah, look at that. The hand comes right off. Holy cow. Got it pretty square. He basically, the ball itself actually knocked his right hand off the bat. It hit him so hard it sounded like a foul ball. In fact, that's what Ellington was asking. Was that a foul ball? Caught that flush.
Looking at the bottom of the hand. Oftentimes the challenge isn't running the bases, it's throwing the ball, and then the next time you have to hit, gripping a bat.
Well, they're just not going to have to deal with the swelling quite yet. So it ends up happening in the course of the game. We've been there a few times myself. You'll find that you can stay in the game for a little while, get your hand in your glove, go out and play some defense. But as you said, I've seen it before. You may not take the next at bat. We'll see what happens.
Tommy Joseph now steps in. 7-4 Miami on top. Joseph a 2-run homer. And a breaking ball from Ellington starts the at bat. .20 homers. He's driven in 65. As you pointed out, if he has a above average September, he hits 3 or 4 more homers and drives in another 10-12 runs, Tommy Joseph will have a nice first full season in the big leagues.
Sure. 70-80 RBIs, 20+ homers.
Good pitch in on the hands. A little pop-up, shallow center. Yelich charging, and he's there, and he makes the catch. 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Dustin McGowan and now Brian Ellington. That's 445 feet worth. And number 52 for Giancarlo. A solo shot, 1-0. Oh, you like that? That's Marcell Ozuna, 405 feet, 2-run homer. Marlins have the lead. Uh-oh, here come the Phils. RHYS Hoskins off the sculpture, 2-run homer. And in the 5th, Tommy Joseph. That's a 2-run homer. Marcell Ozuna would add an RBI single. Ozuna on the night has driven in 4. The Marlins have a 7-4 lead. Brian Anderson, liner left field. And out there is Hoskins. He makes the catch. For you Philly fans out there, in between innings, Hoskins throwing in left, and it did not look like he was compromised at all. He still is squeezing that right hand, but when he threw out there, now you can see it. He's passed the throw test. Now he's starting the swing motion to see how it feels.
And that's usually one of those injuries that you've got to give a little time to see how it feels. Certainly keep an eye on it for tomorrow as well. We'll see the conclusion of this ball game.
That is a shot from the Goodyear blimp.
Carlin Garcia getting loose for the Marlins.
Great zoom camera in the blimp. X-ray camera goes right through the roof. It's at least a 2-2.
You're answering my thoughts.
Yeah, I know. I saw you look up like, wait a minute. There you go. Although this place is big enough that you could probably get a small blimp in here and just float it around.
True.
Though you'd have to change the ground rules for that. Ball in center field. That's a base hit. And Talise has got his second hit of the ball game. Spend Labor Day with the Marlins. They'll take on the Nationals on Monday. First 10,000 fans get a Marlins fortune teller baseball courtesy of Aquafina. Get your tickets today at marlins.com/tickets. One of our fine camera operators, Jasper, before the ball game had one of those. Asked the question, will Stanton homer? And he shook it. And he got...
Maybe.
No, he got the Dave Van Horn home run call. Up, up, and away.
Really?
Yes. And it worked out. So there's that.
And they'll have their socks high tomorrow, too.
Yeah, a lot of Marlins going with the high socks, trying to snap this 5-game skid. And the Fish have pounded out 14 hits. Rojas takes in. He's got an RBI single.
See it. Every Marlin starter has a hit.
Ricardo Pinto, runner goes, hit and run. That Marlins, that's a nice combination, and Rojas a very good guy to hit and run with. He's got that inside out swing, much like Martin Prado.
Handles the bat very well, especially when you believe he's going to get a strike that he can handle. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. He gets this pitch up. It's way up. That's why he's going for it. It's ball 3, but you notice he puts it in play because it is a hit and run. Might see it again.
Rojas looking at Freddie Gonzalez. Pitcher spot due up next. Eric Dietrich on deck. My goodness. The Twins are leading the Royals 17-0
at the half.
Yes.
Football did start today, right?
Yes.
College games going on.
That's a rare in-conference game. The American League Central. Ground ball base hit left field. Rojas has had a nice night, and that gets Dietrich to the plate against Pinto.
His second hit of the ball game for Rojas. Good to see these Marlins breaking out collectively. I always love Giancarlo Stanton home runs, Marcell OZUNA homers, but the way everybody's been going about it tonight, I'll be excited that this offense is coming back to life. Eric Dietrich wants to jump in there and contribute. Relegated to a pinch hit over the last couple of ball games. Ryan Anderson getting starts over third base.
Marlins have used Ichiro and now Dietrich as pinch hitters tonight.
Dietrich, a very nice month of August. .66 OPS over his last 33 games.
with the arrival of Anderson, Dietrich, who's been playing third base every day since Prado went down on the disabled list for the second time. Anderson has started the first 2 games of this series, or excuse me, the last 2 nights in this series. You might see Dietrich in a variety of spots. You can play him at second base, first base. Dietrich blasts one to center field. That's deep. Back goes Williams. Gone! Dead center. Derek Dietrich. Like I said, you might see him in a variety of spots.
Well, I can't help but laugh. He's kind of the leader of the last group of batting practice today, and they were really focusing on hitting the ball to center field and going the other way, and just listening to the ribbing that was going on. And listen, it's all done in good fun, but they were really working on their at-bats going the other way. And Dietrich, I mean, he was absolutely locked in. In fact, his last swing of batting practice was nearly in the upper deck in right center field, and you see him to do this, it's an extension of batting practice. 3rd career pinch home run for Derek Dietrich. To see.
There you go. A little look to the dugout.
Well, sometimes circumstances fall upon you. You got to deal with them. He certainly gets it. Take advantage of the opportunities he gets going forward. He did tonight.
3 long balls for Miami. Stanton solo. Ozuna 2-run. Dietrich a 3-run shot. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. Three-run homer, and Miami's lead has ballooned to 6. Call to the pen brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Enter your Lotto Fantasy 5 or all-new Fast Play ticket in the Florida Lottery Game Day Cash promotion. You can win a 2018 Lazy Days RV motorhome. Over $200,000 in cash prizes, bowl tickets, season tickets, and more. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. A couple things here to make this pitching change. You've got Blanco at short, and Galvis goes to left, which means RHYS Hoskins is out of the ball game. So it could simply be a double switch, or it may be as a precaution to take a look at that hand that was hit by a pitch. Yaxel Rios is in. Gordon is up. Stanton's on deck. There's only 1 out. So Giancarlo's going to get an at-bat this inning as well. 3 runs across on the Dietrich home run.
A triple in tonight's ball game, back in the 2nd. Average sitting at 301.
Gordon a liner. He's got another hit. So there's your multi-hit game for Gordon, which has become an everyday occurrence this week. 7 straight games with multiple hits. 15 hits total. A triple and a single here tonight.
certainly has to feel good for D. Gordon. A couple of ground balls to the right side. This very easily could have gone to the right side, but no, here's the difference. In-game adjustment. Stays on the two-seam fastball, drives it the other way for his second hit of the night.
Fastball strike to Stanton. Giancarlo is 2 for 4, his 52nd homer, and a ground ball single.
Now 29 home runs, 110 miles an hour or more.
Just 21?
29.
29?
There are teams in baseball, I don't have the number right in front of me, but there are teams in baseball that don't have 29 balls as a team put in play at 110 miles an hour or more.
Stanton's got 29 homers.
Homers, yes. We're narrowing it down to the specifics of it all. Yes, homers. I'm not even talking hits by the team. I'm just talking balls in play.
Rios has him 1-2. Gordon being held at first. And a fastball gets him 95 miles an hour. It brings up Christian Yelich, who's got 3 hits in the ballgame.
Two-seam fastball. Stand a little bit behind it. Hard time picking it up.
Yelich's triple was in the 5th. He scored on an OZUNA single. He scored on OZUNA's 2-run homer as well in the 1st.
So far, so good tonight through 7. Marlins good about their approach, their at-bats. Had hit some home runs, RBIs, runners in scoring position. All in all, a good collective approach. 17 hits in the ballgame now for the Marlins.
One and 2 to Yelich. Gordon still at first. Fastball's in. 17 hits for the Fish. 3 early runs. Phillies cut the lead down to 1. 2 more runs for Miami. Phillies with another 2-run homer cut it back to 1. But since then, the Marlins have put 5 more up on the board. Hey, heck of a play down there.
The 10 runs tonight is more than the Marlins scored in their 5-game losing streak. Scored 9 runs over the last 5 games. 10 tonight.
Two-two to Yelich. High fastball. Yelich swings and misses, but the Marlins add 3. Derek Dietrich, 3-run shot. It's 10-4. El Dorado invites you tomorrow on a warm Sunday to settle in. Jake Thompson for the Phils, Jose Urena for the Fish. Urena trying to continue a fine year. Looking for win number 13. Got the ERA under 4. Last time Urena pitched, he faced Max Scherzer. Lasted just 4 innings on that Monday 11-2 loss in DC. Tyler Moore manning right field. And Harlan Garcia is into the ball game. Moore is in the 9 spot in the order. And Garcia's in Stanton's spot. Franco takes a strike, counts 0-2. Miami's bullpen's been outstanding tonight. Dustin McGowan, a scoreless inning. Brian Ellington, a scoreless inning. Harlan Garcia has opened a lot of eyes this year.
Rightly so. He's been awesome since the day he was promoted to the big league roster. Variety of roles, asked to do a little less at times, a little more at other times. He has been ready to go. A couple outs in game 1 of this series.
Anderson, nicely done.
Smooth.
Yeah, kind of a tall third baseman. You don't always see that type of build. It works pretty well in Chicago.
You see 3 steps into the hole right there. Yeah, so he's had pretty good depth. You see he had to backtrack a little bit on the 3rd step. So he's deep in the hole over here and just squared the shoulders. Nice strong throw across the diamond. Free and easy. Good signs.
Young-Soo Kim. By the way, we have not received any word on Pedro Florimon. The Phillies broadcasters as well waiting for word. Florimon suffered a scary leg injury running the bases earlier in the game. Rojas, look at that. Oh, how about it? Miguel Rojas. And Kim is out by less than a step.
Oh, play of the night. My goodness gracious. Rojas all over this, deep in the hole. Even gives you a little pop-up slide to go with it. How about it? Down to the knee, right back up. Strong throw across the diamond. Got him. Beautiful.
Two outs for Garcia here in the 8th. And here is Rupp. Rupp drives it, left center gap, and it falls for a hit. That's going to get Blanco in at bat here.
Two of those home runs came on one day. Versus the Marlins. Philly.
Blanco's pop-up going to find the seats. Well, if you're thinking, well, what else is happening in and around the wild card race? The Rockies are still losing. It's 3-1 up at Coors Field. Arizona's on top there. The Nationals now are beating Milwaukee 3-2. That's bottom 9 in Milwaukee. Sean Doolittle trying to close it out. That would be nice for the Marlins to have Milwaukee take a loss. And the Cardinals lost to the Giants earlier tonight. Up the middle, that's going to find center field. A hit for Blanco.
Back-to-back hits. Philadelphia Phillies with 2 outs. Going to turn the lineup back over again.
Phillies have done some of their best work tonight with 2 outs.
Marlins, not a bad proposition. They've been able to control Hernandez and Galvis. A lot of times the key to this Phillies offense. Hernandez and Galvis over tonight.
Phillies bullpen active. Jason Terrian in the Phillies pen. And 1-1 to Cesar Hernandez. 12:30 tomorrow. Marlins live. 1 o'clock. Jose Urena and Jake Thompson. Breakfast with the fish. Well, not breakfast, but brunch. Breakfast for us. Usually in our high-level production meeting around 11 o'clock.
Nice changeup by Garcia.
Into left center field. That's a hit. Yelich charging, picks it up. A run's going to come across. Rupp scores. Cesar Hernandez. And the Phillies have 3 2-out singles.
He's going to get another run across with the Philadelphia Phillies. Throwing a couple of good changeups. Fastball caught a little bit too much of the plate. And is able to fight it off and get it into center field.
Here's Galvis, who is in left field. We will also, if we get the information, pass along any word on RHYS Hoskins, who was hit by a pitch. Came out of the ballgame in a double switch. So you don't know if it was just flat double switch. The Marlins were up 10-4 at that point. Pete Buchanan may have just wanted, as precaution, to get him in and get that hand or wrist or both examined. Garcia right now having trouble locating.
He's making a mess of this inning. Behind 3-0 to Galvis. Needs to get all the way back. Williams in the hole. He's had some big swings for the Phillies this year. RBI machine in the second half.
Garcia, with a walk, has loaded the bases. Steckenrider is starting to loosen up. Nick Williams, a lefty, is the hitter, so it looks like Garcia is going to get at least one more hitter to try to iron this out.
Well, you like the lefty-lefty matchup, although Williams has handled lefties fairly well in his abbreviated career. Obviously, this is his first season.
Todd, that Twins-Royals game is now in the 9th. 17-0, Twins on top. The new offensive coordinator for the Twins working out here on this Saturday.
One touchdown throwing, 1 touchdown running.
Yes. Well, Joe Mauer was a great high school quarterback. He was headed to Florida State at one point. The hitting hero, Eduardo Escobar, has hit 2 homers, has driven in 6 for the Twins. Ryan Dozier's also homered, a 3-run shot, his 27th. Mauer's 4 for 4 with 215 yards passing. 17-0 Minnesota. It's funny how sometimes a club, and the Marlins an example of this as well, trade away a valuable piece or two. Brandon Kinsler traded out of the Twins bullpen. And all of a sudden the Twins get hot, put themselves in the race. The Marlins, of course, dealt A.J. Ramos and David Phelps. There's a strike. Count 1-1. Cleveland won again. Beat Detroit 5-2.
On fire. Pitching has been outstanding. That rotation rolling right now in Cleveland.
It's 10 straight for the Indians. And they have to have been hot, right? Because the Twins are in second now. Minnesota is 8 back. Cleveland 79 and 56. All of a sudden challenging Houston for home field in the postseason.
Nice job by Garcia. Worked his way back.
Two. Foul tip.
Sometimes you get away with a breaking ball up at the letters. This one a little too high for most liking, but again, Williams underneath it. JT unable to hold it.
Tarian and Ramos. Breaking ball, that's line into right field. That's going to chase home a couple and more. The ball gets all the way to the wall. Galvis is going to score. Williams racing for third, and just like that, the Phillies are within 2. It's 10-8.
Time and time again, we talk about the margin, the game of baseball, the little things that get away. Can't help but think of the foul tip that weren't able to secure. So here's another slider. We talked about the location. This one splits the plate. Don Mattingly on his way out. Tyler Moore, by the time he gets to it, the Phillies have all run around.
All 3 score. Blanco, Hernandez, and Galvis.
That is a 2-out rally.
It's a big 2-out rally. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. 10-8 now. Garcia got the first 2 outs, and then the Phillies, 4 hits, a walk. That last hit, 3-run triple by Nick Williams. Now the Phillies, remember when they double switched, took RHYS Hoskins out of the game. Drew Steckenrider comes in, and this is Hoskins' spot. Daniel Nava will get the pinch hit call for Philadelphia.
Nick Williams now 12 RBIs in 10 games versus the Marlins this season. Hard throwing Drew Steckenrider into the ballgame. Fastball, slider, occasional change. Big spot, tying run in the box.
Fastball up. Busted bat over the glove of Anderson, and the Phillies have another run. Unbelievable. That bat in splinters, and it's 10-9.
Well, Anderson left to defend the left side of the diamond. Back pedals on a broken bat, soft liner. This really was not hit very hard at all.
Off the side of his glove, actually. And the young man, I'm sure, would like to have that to do again. A tough swing to read with not only the busted bat, but the ball with some English on it.
Yeah.
And here is the dangerous Tommy Joseph.
This all with 2 outs.
5 runs with 2 outs. 5 hits with 2 outs.
You had nobody on, nobody out. Start this inning.
Steckenrider misses out. Joseph, a 2-run homer in the 5th, singled in the 4th. And again, this area of the lineup, 3, 4, 5, has done a lot of damage.
Sure has. Well, Daniel Nava over at first base. I know they're still out there running. He's not running all too well. Remember, he took a ball off the inside. His back leg, his left leg on the knee, a slider. Watching him on his way to first base, he is moving slowly. He also represents this tying run.
That one just out. Got him. Fastball. Steckenrider strikes out Joseph. Phillies, though, strike for 5. It's a 1-run game now.
After the big 2-out rallies, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Another solid game here for Marcell Ozuna, who's had what Mattingly calls the most consistent 2 halves of any of the fish. That was not the case a year ago. Remember, he had the good first half All-Star, second half just 209. And Don Mattingly said he talked to him after the All-Star break, said, I'm going to stay on you here in the second half. And Marcell Ozuna has kept it up. He's over 300 now with his big night tonight. 9 homers, 3 more than last year's second half. More ribbies as well. He said he worked very hard in the offseason to be strong in the second half of the year. He's showing it so far.
Greg, 4 RBIs tonight. The 2-run homer was in the first. RBI singles in the 5th and the 6th. And Dubre Ramos misses down low with a breaking ball. Ozuna, Real Muto, and Brian Anderson.
Don't be fooled by the 4.96 ERA. Ramos has been the big guns out of the Phillies bullpen. Struck out 18 and walked just 3 in his last 14 1/3 innings. He's not allowed a run in his last 7 innings pitched.
Ozuna flips that breaking ball up into the seats. That's quite, I mean, just look at that bottom line. It really is quite a season. And he's got a whole month to add to it. And the Marlins are going to need him to add to it to hang in this race. Ozuna swings and misses and strikes out. Brings up Real Muto. And a reminder, MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Marlins baseball. Stay connected, fully customizable experience. Get your club-based home screen icons, app features, game day video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, and on and on and on. Download MLB.com at bat today. Real Muto sends that to right. And Kim is there, makes the catch. By the way, I saw a note today, MLB.TV, which gets you all of the telecasts in Major League Baseball of every game, home and away, right? Telecasts. For the month of September is going to be free for college students.
Wait, what?
So if you're a college student, or if you have a college student and they want to watch baseball, I know they should be studying, but you know, hey, it's just the start of school, okay?
That's right.
Just getting the syllabus and figuring out the class schedule.
Wow, that'd be a big no-no for me. I'm not sure how many classes I'd go to.
MLB.TV. All you need to do is show a college ID. Do they still have those in college?
I assume so.
Syllabus. Here's a 1-1. No swing. It's 2-1. Breaking ball strike. Brian Anderson. A 1-for-3 night, just like last night. A walk, a strikeout, a single, and a fly ball out.
Some really nice at-bats tonight. Looks like Drew Steckenrider is going to get the 9th as well.
Well, as we noted, I think Don Mattingly would like to stay away from Kyle Bearclaw. And 3 nights in a row, Brad Ziegler has not done that yet since coming off the DL with that lower back injury. (3-2) in the dirt. Anderson walks again.
On base 3 times tonight.
Tommy Joseph and Anderson chatting it up. There is Talise.
Talise, nice night. Big triple, made a nice adjustment in that at bat against NOLA. Back-to-back breaking balls, lined the second breaking ball into the right field corner. Base hit the center field his last time up.
Ramos misses with a fastball. So it appears as if the Marlins are going to ask Steckenrider for a 4-out save.
Appears to be the direction the Marlins are going to go in. I certainly think that would be, considering you don't have Ziegler or Bearclaw, that would be the direction you'd go. He certainly has earned more opportunity. It's been outstanding. It's his call-up. Just a couple of small bumps. Overall has been one of the more reliable Marlins relievers.
Breaking ball drops in for a strike. Now it's 2-2. Sprays that ground ball wide of Franco. He throws it away. Anderson racing for third. Talise on his way to second. All right, Talise going to get a base hit, and the throwing error allows everybody to move up.
Nice piece of hitting with 2 strikes from Talise.
This base hit set off the alarm.
Maybe that's what it is. All right, hustle it all the way. Good swing, ball down the line. Franco made a nice play to get to that ball and even had a play at first. Tommy Joseph unable to keep the ball at first. It was a hit and an error.
So this game has had everything. Big home runs, 2-out rallies, and now a fire alarm. Rojas is 2 for 4. A couple big insurance runs are out there right now. There have only been 32 hits in this game.
Well, the bats are just starting to warm up.
See, I think that should be the call to the bullpen sound effect.
Not the mid-pitch sound effect?
No.
Gonna be honest, I'm giving Miguel Rojas a lot of credit in my mind right now. I'm like, he's got flashing lights going on around him and sirens going off.
Ramos got a pitch with that too, and Rojas fouls it back to the screen. It's 0-2. And the alarm has stopped.
Well, maybe were the hitters on fire?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, well.
Wow. Come on, Jimmy, that was funny.
You're not finding anybody in this booth that at 10:35 that thought it was.
It's past that time, isn't it?
0-2 pitch. And time called. Well, look, turnabout's fair play on 2 outs. Ramos came in, he struck out Ozuna, he got Real Muto, but a walk to Anderson, the Talise ground ball. He's trying to get Rojas here.
Good take on a tough slider. Ramos going for the strikeout. Line him straight up in the outfield. Straight up on the infield as well.
That's strike 3 called. Miami leaves 2 in a wild game. The 9th inning arrives. It's 10-9 Miami, and Drew Steckenrider is back out for the 9th. brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new Jeep Compass. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Hurry into the Summerbration sales event today.
All right, right back at it for Drew Steckenrider. FRANCO steps in. He got their big rally going last night. The double off Ziegler. In case you're wondering, going for the 4-out save tonight. He does have a 5-out save this season on May 18th, so he's been here in this position.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Kyung-Soo Kim and then Cameron Rupp. That's the Phillies trio in a 10-9 game. It was 10-4 before 5 in the 8th. Big swing and a pop-up. Steckenrider knocks it down, picks it up, gets the runner. How about that? That's the first out of the 9th inning.
Now the big guy defended himself well. To get the glove up and I believe knock it down in front of him. See him pick it up after that. Yeah, here's the angle we were looking for. Yeah, sure enough. Kind of climbed up his body just a little bit. Nothing to worry about. No medical staff out or anything like that.
Now Kim for his 3rd at bat. He's 1 for 3.
The Marlins have put up good numbers when having a lead going into the 9th inning. We're 59-2, leading after 8. Of course, last night happened, and now they are 59-3.
One and 2. Steckenrider really having a fine rookie season for Miami.
Hey, what's been so impressive with Steckenrider, his composure, his poise, almost unfazed at everything that's come his way. You imagine a vital characteristic of a middle reliever. Got this one back to 3-2.
Kim won't go away. The count's 3-2. No major league saves yet for Steckenrider. And he loses Kim with 1 out. The tying runs on base. Here comes Rupp.
Now, didn't miss by much, but just enough. His way down to first. Go ahead run now in the box. Tying run at first.
Cameron Rupp and Andres Blanco. Both of these guys had 2-out hits in the 8th. When the Phillies had 5 2-out hits and a walk and 5 runs. Rupp.
Steckenrider right after him. 5-mile-an-hour fastball. Anticipate more of the same.
Infield playing for 2. Steckenrider stays inside. Good 2 live fastball, 96 miles an hour.
For Rupp, half of his home runs have come after the 7th inning.
One, two, popped up. Out of play. That one almost got Tony Perez.
Tony gave us the thumbs up all as well.
1-2 fouled off of Real Muto. Drew Steckenrider out of the University of Tennessee. Grew up in the Atlanta area. Looking for his first major league save. Real Muto took a pop right off the mask. $20 minor league saves. Strike 3 called. There's 2 outs.
Could have guessed he was going to get back to the high velocity, the high octane of the 2-seam fastball. Cameron Rupp never made contact with it throughout the at-bat. So 1 out away.
Yeah, but this guy has hurt the Marlins this year. Remember, he homered twice in that last road trip in Philly. Blanco swings and misses here. He knocked in a run last night in the 9th. That was the winning run. And in this ball game, he's got a single. That was the 8th inning. Kim still anchored at first. Blanco, big rip. 96 on the fastball, and Steckenrider is a strike away.
Yeah. A lot of momentum behind the velocity right now from Steckenrider. This crowd here at Marlins Park behind him. You're getting the sense with every pitch that you want to see another fastball. No reason to stop now.
0-2 pitch. Ball game. He struck him out. 4 outs for the first major league save for Drew Steckenrider, and that ends a wild night. A big night for a lot of the bats on both sides.
Well, either way, a must-win turns into a win for the Marlins. They snap their 5-game losing streak. They get it done, and the offense comes to life.
Giancarlo Stanton, Marcell Ozuna, and Derek Dietrich all with home runs. 10-9 the final, and the 5-game losing skid is over. Marlins Live just beginning.